Everybody, Creative Katie Karen Burchill here. Welcome to my channel. Today, an art journal tutorial where I am using one of the pages I broke in my recent Break the Blank Page video. This page was broken with clothing tags that I glued down onto the page, overlapping, and then I put a coat of gesso. So I really want to bring out the texture of these tags. So the first thing I'm going to do here is apply a layer of color. And I've chosen to use orange, bright yellow, and I'm mixing that with gesso with a makeup sponge directly onto the page. Added the gesso, that kind of softens it, helps blend it. I'm using one makeup sponge, but if it gets too blendy and I want more distinct colors, I will grab another one. I want some dark, some lights here. I just want an interesting colored background. I wanted a little more yellow there, so I put some gesso on and then put the yellow. The gesso knocks back the orange that's there. Now, beyond choosing these colors, I had no idea what I was going to do with this page. So I flipped through my stencils and focal images, and for some reason, I guess the orange color, I was thinking sunflower, so I grabbed this sunflower stencil from the Crafter's Workshop. The exact name I'll put in the description box, Sunflower Meadow. And I am using white gesso here, and I'm just stenciling the top of the sunflower. Now, isn't that absolutely lovely? I think this would make a perfect background to use on a card for any of you card makers out there. But I love the look of this. It softens the page and definitely gives you that summer feeling. I'm just adding a few more isolated ones, just layering up with the same stencil. If your background gets too busy, stenciling with white has a magical effect. Kind of reminds me a little bit of tie-dyeing there too. But I absolutely love, love, love this background. Now I grabbed my darkroom door script stamp and I'm putting black acrylic paint on it. And then I just want to add a little bit of black in the background and a smaller scale pattern. So I'm trying not to go too crazy here, trying not to put too much on. I tend to do that. Anyone else? And I'm edging it with black. Now, this is another TCW stencil, Joyful Sunflower. The other one was the 12-inch. This is the 6-inch. And I am adding contrast here, and I'm stenciling with black acrylic paint. Now, I chose not to use modeling paste, primarily because there's a lot of texture in the background, a lot of layers, and I just didn't want to add that dimension. I wanted to bring out the texture of the tags. But I love that how that contrasts with black. Now I have this butterfly, and I believe that you can get this from NinnysNapkins. She has these embellishments. I'm cutting off the excess white on this die cut. And I'm placing that on the sunflower. Now I've chosen to keep the colors the same, the yellow, the orange, the black, and very, very little bit of white on here. I'm getting rid of the white edges on the butterfly because it's a thicker paper. And I'm going to use TCW's gel medium to glue this down. Again, because that butterfly die cut is on thicker tag paper. Now the matte finish of the TCW gel medium does a great job of getting rid of the shine that's on that die cut. A lot of die cuts have that shine and I don't like that. So use a matte gel medium or fluid medium and that'll just get rid of that for you. Now I'm adding a little bit, a wash of color, the orange or orangey red on top of the butterfly. I want it a little bit darker than the background, just so because it's a focal point, I want it to stand out. So I'm adding one layer, then another layer. I think I come in and I add a little bit of brown and I add a little bit of black as well, just to bump up those colors. So don't think just because you're using a die cut that you have to leave it exactly as it is. Tweak it. Now I'm shading using the floating acrylic technique of shading with black acrylic paint here. And again, the purpose of this is to get that focal image to stand off the background. Give it shadows and maybe a little bit of life. Now I'm edging it. And then I decide I want to bring out those tags. So I am shading around the tags to bring that texture out and to add that design element. These squares and rectangles. Kind of pushes back the stenciling that's in the background, but I absolutely love it. I don't use tags often on my art journal pages, but when I do, I just love how they look. Now I went to my short and sweet sentiment pack, and these are all the ones that I've printed off over time. And I have this one rectangle that is perfectly there. Now I'm grabbing some sentiments and testing them in that space because I'm limited. It's a smaller space and I want to just have it there. A bold font would look good because it would go with the black. The short and sweet one, though, some of them I've made with black backgrounds and white letters. So I'm just going through my stash here, looking for something that goes with the butterfly and sunflower. And this one, Have Faith, is already cut out, ready to go. And on the black background, it just seems to fit perfectly. So that's what I'm going to use for this one. So we've used only two colors, black and white, two stencils. So this is a very simple page. Doesn't take a lot of materials, but it's very effective. Just grab my Posca pen, my black, and I'm just going to outline this rectangle that has the sentiment on it. And then I'm going to go around the page as well. And don't do what I just did. My page isn't completely dry, so I'm having some issues. Let your page really dry before you do any of the line work. Your pens will thank you. Now there's some gold on that butterfly die cut, so I decide I'm going to splatter with gold as well. This would make a beautiful card or canvas. So let's do the recap. I love how this turned out. It was a very quick page. So I started by collaging down clothing tags. I layered them up and they got a coat of gesso. I applied color using my block and blend technique, the two colors with white gesso with a makeup sponge. I stenciled the sunflower pattern with white, and then I stenciled with black to add contrast, the joyful sunflower stencil. I collaged the focal image, combining it with the sunflower to make my larger focal image, but I adjusted the color to make it stand out. Also to make it stand out, I shaded my tags to make them stand out in the background and add a design element, and I edged the page. Then the whole page got, I added the sentiment, and the whole page got splattered with gold. Give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, and until next time, go get creative.